Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Seams. Thank you very much for joining me for today's video. So I was recently at a sewing day with my very lovely friend Orla. She is Sew What over on Instagram. I'll link it down below. She does make garments, but she does make the most incredible bags. So I would encourage you to jump on over and take a look. They're just spectacular. So we had a very lovely sewing day together. We both made the same pattern. We both made the Scotty bag by Cara Threads, and here is my version right here. We had such a great day making these bags. I'm just about to unpack all the stuff that I brought, but I thought it might be fun to show you exactly what I bring for a sewing day. It's the same as what I bring for a social day or a sewing retreat, and see the kind of the tools and bits and bobs that I bring along with me. So I won't link everything below, but I will mention everything below, and hopefully if you'd like to, you can take a look as well. So shall we get started? The first thing I brought was my little trusty travel iron. So Orla did of course have her own, but this is really handy to travel. This is a quilted bear one, and I think it's really cute, and it really does the job. It heats up really nice and hot, which is great. So I brought that along with me, along with a little felt mat as well, so I can do a little bit of pressing, which is really handy. To bring all my pattern pieces, I have two little bags that I can put my pattern pieces in. I have this one, I'll link this below. I did a little hexie on the back, and then it's got a lovely little carry handle. I've got all my pattern pieces in here. It's got a lovely little heart vinyl on the front. And the other little bag I bring with my pattern pieces is this one, and this is the Juliet pouch, and this is by Centre Street Quilt. It's got this beautiful little frill at the top, and it's got this little vinyl cutout heart as well, which is very cute, and it's all fully quilted. It's lovely for carrying around your pattern pieces. The next thing I brought, and actually worked out very well, because myself and Orla actually made these both together on another sewing day earlier in the year, and this is the Arabesque Scissors Sewing Space Station. So currently it looks like a picnic blanket because I use this gingham, but if you open up these little ribbons here, it's actually a sewing mat, and this usually sits right under my sewing machine here. I should of course mention I brought my sewing machine. Yes, I brought my sewing machine with me as well. So if you open up this mat, it totally folds out and you can put your sewing machine on it. So here's what it looks like. So that you put your sewing machine flat on the mat here. It does of course come with a number of lovely pockets. You can put your pattern in, you can put your rulers in as well, which is great. And then this bit hangs over the side of your sewing table. So I've got all my little sewing notions here. I've got some scissors. I've got these friction pens, which I think are very good. They're heat erasable markers. They're really handy. I've got another little sewing pencil here, which is a good little chalk marker. This one is really cute. It says Dressmaking pencil. Ordinarily, if I was bringing my Overlocker, I would of course bring some tweezers. So I got these magnificent unicorn ones that So Let's Sparkle Sam kindly gave me. More marking tools, of course a seam gauge and multiple seam rippers of course. And then I brought my trusty awl as well, which is great if you're doing binding or if you're working with tricky fabric. I think this is very handy. Then at the bottom of the space station, it's got this little carry bag here which detaches with these little buttons, and this is where I keep all my clips. So if you can open this up, here's a little bag, and this is where I keep all my sewing clips, which is great for making the bag because of course you can't use pins. So this is very handy. So this is where my sewing machine sat for the day, and it all folds up again very nicely. So that was a really fun sewing project to do together. Then the main bag where I carried all my notions is of course my Adam Sews Makers caddy, which I just love. So I made this a little while ago. The pattern is on Adam's website. I'll link it below. I've got a little made by me label here. It's all in these bee fat quarters, and it is just perfect for bringing all your sewing notions. So it's got a little zip pocket here, another friction pin in here. I have a zip pocket on the other side. I think I have some hand cream in here just in case you might need it. And then it's got pockets all along the outside and all along the back as well, which is wonderful. So in here I have a little mini cutting mat because I didn't need to bring my big one. And I got a number of little rulers, which of course is very handy as well. Then I've got the cutest little penguin measuring tape, which I think I got from Beyond the Pink Door advent calendar a number of years ago, but I think he's very cute. He seems to have lost a flipper, never mind. I bring this little tin, and it's got a little magnet in it, and this is where I bring my pins, because I do have a lovely magnetic pin cushion here, a nice little pink heart one, but that's not great for traveling with. So I put them all in this little tin box here to keep them all safe and secure. And I really love these flat head pins. I think they're very handy. Oh, as I stab myself with one. So they're my pins. And then inside my bag, I've got these two little things, which are of course the pouches that go inside the maker's caddy, which is great. So if I show you what's in those as well. In the first one, I've got a number of cutting tools. So of course I've got my trusty scissors. I've got my rotary cutter, which I love. So I love cutting out with a rotary cutter, but then of course you do need the scissors for notches, things like that as well. This is the Generates hot hemmer, which I found really useful. So it's got the curved edge and a flat edge. So you put your hem above it and then you can iron that flat, which is great. At least 3 more unpickers in this little one. This is the one that I made to match the bag, so which is really pretty. Loads of unpickers, more clips, a trusty Snips, which are very, very handy. These are very sharp, they're great. A bias binding maker in case you need to do emergency binding. I always have dental floss in my sewing bag in case you need to gather any bulky fabric, which is great. And this, which is very, very handy, which I'm using constantly now, which is double-sided tape, of course covered in fluff. This was very, very useful for doing all the zips on that bag. So these little pouches that go into the maker's caddy are really, really handy. This one zips up. Then I have another one. And this one is in beautiful Tula fabric with the vinyl again. And this has got the most magnificent dinosaur zip in it, which I just love. In this one, I have a walking foot, which is very, very useful sometimes depending on your fabric. And this has a little gauge. So if you're doing quilting or anything, you can measure exactly where your quilting lines are. So I love my walking foot. I think it's very, very useful. Clear nail varnish, which I use for securing the ends of webbing, things like that. If you don't have if you don't want to do it by flame, I prefer doing it with a nail varnish. Another seam gauge. I have got my rouleau loop turner, which I really like using if you're doing straps on a dress, things like this. You put your strap in here, and you can close the little thing at the top, and then pull out your very thin strap, which is very, very useful. Pritt stick for holding down bits and bobs, labels, things like that. A little teeny weeny rotary cutter, which is very handy for going around small corners. That's very useful. A little mini seam gauge. This is actually a Kylie in the machine one. This is to put on labels accurately inside your seam allowance. Very handy. I have a few of these which are great. So this, it looks like a measuring tape. I do have a sewing machine one as well. This is magnetic, and this sits on the plate of your sewing machine, and it gives you a very accurate seam allowance, which is really handy if you can't really see the seam allowance on your sewing machine. Very, very useful little magnetic ones. More scissors, and this, which is a hump jumper, I believe it's called. So sewing over bulky fabrics, if there's a very, very big gap between your fabric and then your foot in your sewing machine, you can use this to balance it out so it can go over the bulky fabrics, which is very, very useful. And this is a very cute little addition to my sewing bag. It's a little ring, but it's actually a thread cutter. Can you see the little tiny blade in here? So you can put this on, and then you can cut your threads as well and look stylish while doing it. So I think that's very, very cute. And this is my other little pouch as well. So I think that's everything in my sewing bag. So as you can see, it's all lovely, all self-contained, all nicely packaged away to go on any kind of retreat you want to. I bring my sewing machine. I have a hard case for my sewing machine, but I also have a wheelie case as well. I do have an overlocker, which I can bring sometimes as well. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that a sewist needs to bring on a sewing day, but it's all very, very useful, and it's all perfectly accessible in these little nifty gadgets as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Do you have any of these sewing tools? If so, which is your favourite? And if I don't have a sewing tool that you would recommend, please let me know in the comment box below. I would really love to see what you use in your sewing toolbox. If you like this video, I would very much love it if you give me a thumbs up, and also I would love it if you would consider subscribing. If you would like to, I would love it if you left me a comment in the comment box below. You know how much I love having the chats. I hope you all have a lovely day. I hope you all get some time for some lovely, lovely sewing, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.